So Sri Krishna gave us this strong lesson 5,000 years ago. But in 5,000 years, many things happened. So again, people forget. And again, we start doing the same thing. So this, we have to understand that an important criteria for success, for reaching the goal, is this ekanta bhakti. You worship God alone. Because I have elaborated on this in the past, I will not go in the detail, but even in worshipping God, there are so many forms of God, so again a confusion arises. So invariably we have Panchadev, the 5 different forms. But beyond Panchadev, we go to so many other forms. People keep so many forms in their house. This is Devaji ka gola, this is Devi ji ka gola, this is Hanuman ji, this is Durga ji, this is Shaligram Shila. How come you got so many? Swamiji, you know, my father's father went to Jagannath Puri and he got 3 Bhagwans from there. Then my father's father went to Badrikashram, he got all the Bhagwans from there. Then my father went to Dwarkapuri and he got 2-3 from there. And then I went to Rameshwaram and I got all the Bhagwans from there. That's why I got such a big collection. So how do you worship them? Oh, that is so simple. You know, I take one pot and I take all the Bhagwans and throw them in the pot. All right, bathe together. So one's foot is going in the other's nose and the third's finger is going in the fourth's eye. And then I take one towel and put them there and wipe them all together. All right, rub yourselves. Then I put them back in their place and I take the chandan and I flick it. All right, here's the chandan. So one has got the chandan in his eye today, the second has got it in his ear, and the third is waiting. Chandan did not come today, it will come tomorrow. Then after that we give God sugar to eat. I will eat rasgullas, you eat sugar. The sugar murmuras. Is this puja you are doing, worship, or some kind of jokery? Well, Swamiji, you know, I don't have time to worship them all individually properly. Then why did you have such a big collection? No, this is important. Yani kani cha mitrani kartavyani shatani cha. It's good to have a lot of friends. When there's a problem, I don't know who will listen to me. Supposing I go, oh, Shri Krishna, please listen. He doesn't listen. All right, I'll go to Mother Durga. At least you listen to me. You also did not listen. All right, I'll go to Shankarji. He is Bholenath. I will just offer that madar ka patta and dhature ka phool and say, bam bam bhole, bana de chandi ke gole. So this, which we do, see, worshipping God in all His different forms is not wrong. However, there is this saying in Hindi, ek sadhe, sab sadhe. Sab sadhe, sab jai. You try and perfect everything and you will not perfect anything. You try and perfect one and you will get perfect in everything. If you try and love 5 different forms of God, you will not develop love for any of them. And if you develop love for one, your mind attached to one form of God, you will automatically develop love for all of them. So as we progress in devotion, we should choose one form of God as our Ishtadev, as our worshipable deity. And then using his form as the basis, we should keep on increasing our love. And then we see that same form everywhere. There is no conflict. We see the same form everywhere. There is one beautiful, humorous story in this regard. There was one Babaji, Sadhu Babaji. He was taking people around for a parikrama in Braj Dham, Vrindavan. You must have seen, those of you who have visited Vrindavan, that many people, they take people around, holy personalities, for parikrama, holy visits to the holy places. So there were about 500 devotees along with him. They would sit in one place and he would relate the importance of this place. Then they would do little kirtan. Now one Brajbasi, ordinary villager residing in Braj, he saw this crowd and he saw Babaji sitting and speaking. He was carrying his bag of grain on his head. So he also went and stood there. He placed the bag down and started looking at Babaji. Now villagers have a different way of looking because there is no etiquette. They're just natural. So he's just looking like this. Babaji got disconcerted. He said, "Who are you?" That villager, instead of answering, he asked a reverse question. He said, "Who are you?" So Babaji said, "I am an Ananya Bhakt of Sri Krishna, exclusive devotee of Sri Krishna." Now this villager was very basically schooled. He did not know what is this Ananya. So Babaji said, "Now you tell me, who are you?" So he said, "You are Ananya Bhakt of Sri Krishna. I am Fananya Bhakt of Sri Krishna." Now Babaji had never heard Fananya. What is this Fananya? So Babaji said, "Tell me what is Fananya." He said, "First you tell me what is Ananya." He said, "Ananya means that all these celestial gods, Indra, Varun, Kuber, etc., I don't worship them. I only worship the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna." Now you tell me what is Fananya. So the villager said, "Fananya means all these various gods which you have named, I don't even know their names. I only know the name of Kanhaiya, that's all." Babaji fell at his feet that you are really an exclusive Ananya Bhakt. So slowly we learn to focus on one form of God. So how do we choose that form? Now this question remains in the minds. People who have grown up in the Indian tradition, how to decide my Ishtadev, my worshipable form of God. So when you are choosing the form of God, you must keep this criteria in mind. If that form of God is very attractive, very beautiful, it becomes an advantage in devotion. Although Ganesh and Krishna are both forms of the same God. However, when you worship Krishna, his beautiful form will make your devotion easy. And worshipping Ganesh, that advantage will not be there. And then further, if there are many divine pastimes of that form, you will be able to take advantage of those pastimes. Because to turn the mind towards God, the mere form is not enough. If there are very sweet, loving pastimes, they have a great role to play in pulling the mind. That is why we celebrate the festivals. Now is Radhashtami, now is Janmashtami, let's celebrate it. So along with the forms of God, there is the whole lot of festivals. So because Sri Krishna's form, there are so many different pastimes, and these pastimes, they reveal the glories of divine love. Sri Krishna reveals in those pastimes how he becomes subjugated by love, and the devotee by his or her love, they finish his almightiness and they bring God to their level. In other words, he is no longer God. He is the friend of Arjun, the friend of Sridama and Madhumangal. He is the little child of Yashoda. He is the beloved of the gopis. So this sweetness of devotion is available in that form is Sri Krishna. Similarly, Durga and Radha are both forms of the Divine Mother. But in Durga, she is in her opulent form. She is killing demons and she is taking care of the material creation. And as Radha, she is only engaging in sweet, loving service to Sri Krishna and engaging the souls in the same activity. So that sweetness of devotion is particularly there in Sri Krishna. Besides, Sri Krishna has got 4 extra madhuris in comparison to the other forms of God. Which are these 4 madhuris? Anybody knows? 4 special madhuris. The first is extremely sweet childhood pastimes that draw the mind. The second is Murli Madhuri. His flute has got a great attraction. And then the third one is Prem Madhuri, the sweetness of divine love that he manifests. And the fourth is Roop Madhuri, his enchanting form. So these are 4 sweetnesses, but if somebody decides that, my mind is attached to Sri Ram or to Shivji, all right, no problem. There is no conflict there, no problem. Wherever your mind is attached, you go ahead. They are all different forms of the same one God. So, Ekanta Bhakti. Now, Sutra number 68. Kanth avarodha. Romancha shrubhih. Parasparam. Lapa manah. Pavyanti. Kulani. Prithivim cha. Now Narad ji says that such exclusive devotees, they discuss with each other the pastimes and glories of God. In this way they relish His sweetness. And such devotees, such exclusive devotees, they purify the whole earth. They purify the kul or the dynasty in which that they have been born. Narad ji will talk about this in future. Kanth avarodha. The love in their heart sometimes chokes up their voice. They wish to speak, but the voice gets choked. Their heart melts and tears roll out of their eyes as they talk about God. Sometimes their body starts trembling and their hair stands on end. Sometimes they faint and become unconscious. Sometimes the color of their face becomes ashen white. These are called the ashta-sattvik bhavs. What are these ashta-sattvik bhavs? You see, the devotee has got the ocean of divine love in the heart. So when he experiences the subject matter of God in a particular way, he's walked into a temple of God, or he's heard some beautiful kirtan about his Ishtadev, or heard some very heart-moving leela pastime, the love in his heart starts swelling. And the waves of that love go on and on increasing. So just like there is steam in a pressure cooker. So there's the safety valve that keeps the steam inside. But when the steam increases too much, then it comes out. So similarly, the devotee keeps the love inside. However, sometimes when the love increases too much, then it manifests. So how does it manifest? Narad ji has given a little indication here. The Bhakti Shastras talk more about it. The Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Rupa Goswami Pad says, Stambha swedotha romanchaha swarabhedotha vepatuhu vaivarnyam ashru pralaya ashtau satvika smrita. He says these ashta satvik bhav, tears coming out, hair standing on end, body trembling, face becoming ashen white, the throat filling up, fainting, etc. These are all symptoms of that divine love. Now, this is not to be confused. You see, because if you go in the villages in India, there are so many cases. Mata aa gayi. Now they are displaying the same kinds of things. That is the mode of ignorance. I am talking about sattvic bhavas, when the love increases. And the difference is that somebody in that state is totally detached from the world. His mind is totally absorbed in God. Narad ji is going to talk about it. So these ashta sattvic bhav are an indication of the ocean of divine love that exists in the devotee. You hear of this if you read the life history of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's something that is very, very helpful for devotion, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed the highest symptoms of devotion. So you will see out there, it's described how in his last 12 years living in Jagannath Puri, the place called Gambhira, he manifested these highest states of divine love. And Ramakrishna Paramhans manifested this state when he used to worship Mother Kali in Dakshineshwar. He would go into this divine ecstasy. So Narad ji says, such a devotee, he purifies the whole world and the whole dynasty in which he has been born. Next sutra, 69. Tirthi kurvanti.
Tirthi kurvanti.
Tirthani.
Tirthani.
Sukarmi kurvanti.
Sukarmi kurvanti.
Karmani.
Karmani.
Sachchhastrikurvanti.
Sachchhastrikurvanti.
Shastrani.
Shastrani.
Such a saint who has attained complete union with God, his every act becomes divine. His consciousness is merged with God. Such a saint has got nothing to attain for himself. God becomes his director. So God engages in the pastime of welfare, Jiva Kalyan, through that saint. So our worldly rules and regulations do not apply to that God-realized saint. We people have this tendency. You know, Guruji is asking me to live in austerity. And why is he roaming around in a Mercedes car? Guruji should also do that. Now the parents, they also do the same. They tell their children, Beta, it's your exam tomorrow, go and study. Father, you are sitting and watching the television serial Kaun Banega Karodpati, and you asking me to go and study. I will also sit and watch. Beta, you do what you are supposed to do. When you come to my class, you can sit and watch. Right now, you have to go class by class by class until you get the degree, then get your job, and when you are settled, now you sit and watch television. So there are different classes. We cannot copy the class ahead of ours. We have to go by our class.